and welcome back to today's session on soft skills. So, we've been looking at different topics on soft skills. First, we started with positive attitude, and then today we're going to deal with public speaking. And yesterday we were dealing with time management, and one of the most common thing that to be successful, one of the most important things to be successful is public speaking. So if you are good at public speaking, there's no stopping you. You could succeed in whatever you do, whether it's going for an interview, being a good participant in class, whatever you do, you will be successful. So what is public speaking? Why should we master it? Are public speakers born or made? Whenever we think of public speaking, who are the people that come to mind? At at on my fingertips would be probably Narendra Modi, mostly politicians. Maybe one of the oldest ones is Gandhiji, and then Barack Obama, and then we have Steve Jobs, and uh, you know so many other CEOs who have made it in life. They have become, they've come to the stage where they are because of their public speaking skills. So let's look at what we're going to learn in this session. That is, what is public speaking, the evolution of public speaking, how to prepare a public speech. When I say public speaking, it does not necessarily mean addressing thousands of people or hundreds of people even. It could be just addressing some students in the class. It could be just addressing 10 or 15 people. Even that is public speaking. When it's more than two, you're generally, and when you have an audience who's listening to you, that's called public speaking. And public speaking in the business world, and also some of the do's and don'ts, especially the don'ts of public speaking. So we always imagine that great public speakers are born. Oh, Gandhiji was a born public speaker. But let me tell you, as a person, Gandhiji was a very shy person. In the beginning, he never spoke in public. Even when there were a few students in his class, when he went to study in England, when he was asked to speak in front of 10 people in his class, he would just, forget everything. His mind would become blank, and he was very, very shy. Even the little English he knew, he would forget. And that's the same Gandhiji, where we've heard great speeches, inspired thousands and millions of people in India to, attain independence. Today, we have a Narendra Modi who does the same. If you see his speeches on television or live, you see the impact he has on people, the emotional connect he has on people. That's the art of public speaking. Obama, most presidents, they have reached that stage because of their public speaking skills. Be it, Shiv Nadar, or, even Trump, or Steve Jobs. All these people are great public speakers. Bill Gates, they have not been born like that. They have practiced. Again, if we come back to India, let's look at our cricketing heroes. Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Dhoni. Maybe Virat knew English and he could speak quite comfortably. But imagine, see some of the Dhoni's first speeches. You would see that he was very hesitant. But then he developed the art of public speaking. And now, in a press conference, very casually he speaks. A Tendulkar, he became a great speaker. If you listen to his retirement speech, you'll be really impressed. The emotional connect he had with the audience, that is what is public speaking all about. So, if you want a definition of public speaking, it's a process and an act of making a speech before an audience. The audience could be any number. It could be 10, it could be 100, it could be thousands, it could be lakhs and millions. It could be any number. That is called public speaking. And why do people make public speeches? When it's a 10 or 15 in companies, it's because they have to inform. Public speaking is done generally to inform. Whenever some even in your school or college, the principal may give some information. She gathers all the students and the teachers around, and then she gives some information about maybe exams or the forthcoming fest or whatever. So that is one reason, to inform, to educate. When people want to know some things. Even the class that I'm taking is probably public speaking, because I have a big audience. Everybody's listening. So this is also a form of public speaking. And then to entertain. Why do people, you have these comic setups, comedy, stand-up comedies. That is also public speaking. And that's for entertainment. So to educate, to inform, to entertain. Public speaking could be for any of these things. So there are so many elements involved in public speaking. And what are they? First, we have to think about the speaker, the message he wants to give to the audience, he or she, the channel. Is it a live public speaking occasion, or is it one like this, where I'm not right in front of you, but through technology, this is also live. You're getting this session live. So this is also a form of public speaking. So what is the channel? Here we have the digital channel. And then the listener. Who is the listener? Feedback and interference and the situation. Public speaking is all about what is happening in the situation. So you have to be very conscious of the fact of who you're going to speak to, who the audience is, and what the situation is. So what are the elements of public speaking? As we saw, communicator, the message, the medium, the receiver, and the effect. So there are 5 things that every public speaker needs. So let's see if we can get these 5 things. And you're not born with these 5. You have to develop these 5. The good news is that you can master the art. It is a skill, and like any other skill, this skill too can be learned. So don't despair. Actually, in America, there was a survey where people were asked, one university did the survey, where people were asked about the things that they were really scared of in life. 5 things. Everybody was asked to name 5 things they were really afraid of. So some of them said some of them are afraid of heights, some of them are afraid of guns or terrorism, some of them are afraid of water, some of them are afraid of different things, being hit by something on the road, all these kinds of things, or maybe a natural calamity like a tsunami or an earthquake. But then most of them were also afraid of public speaking. So in the ranks, when it came to, what was the thing most people were afraid of? Public speaking stood at number 3 spot. Can you imagine that? How are people afraid of public speaking when it's a skill that can be learned? The reason is that people do not try to overcome this fear of public speaking. So what we do here in class or in general in a college is give you opportunities to speak. So as you have more and more opportunities, you lose the fear of speaking in public, what I'm trying to say is. So though it is one of the most commonest fears, most people, you must have seen that, in a group of people, your friend will be talking to you, but the moment a group arrives, he'll stop talking. You know why he stopped talking? He's very afraid of what the other people will think of him, whether they will ridicule him, or whether they will, think of him, or less of him. So all these things go on in their mind, and they stop speaking. So this is, public speaking is a fear which most people have. So if you're one of them, don't be afraid. You're not the only one, and it can be overcome. So let's see how. So one of the first things you should have is confidence. How will you get confidence? Only when you have good content. So confidence makes a good presentation. A public speaker who exudes confidence is viewed as a very confident person who has good knowledge, who is accurate, intelligent, and because a person who's less confident will be very scared to come on, and then he'll be looking here and there, trying to fidget, trying to adjust something. But a confident person, when he exudes confidence, even the audience feels confident in him or her. So, one of the first things to have as a public speaker is confidence, because the speech you have prepared, nobody else has it, nobody else knows it. So, whatever you say is fine as long as you know that you've prepared it properly. You've done the right amount of research in preparing that speech. So, you should feel confident about whatever you're going to say. And then passion. This is one other important element. Have you seen the passion that Narendra Modi shows whenever he speaks in public? He speaks from his heart, and he tries to connect emotionally to the audience. When he is in Maharashtra, he tries to excuse me? Hello? And me. Your tone can be heard. So when he speaks in Maharashtra, he speaks in Marathi. So he tries to emotionally connect to the audience. So he gives a quotation in Marathi. And the same thing when he does it in Gujarat, of course Gujarati is his mother tongue, so he speaks. So wherever he goes, he tries to be passionate about that place, about those people, and he tries to connect. So the passion that he shows is visible to the audience, and they emotionally connect. So passion is something you should have in your speech to effectively communicate your subject. If I was not passionate about public speaking, I would probably come and stand here and say, public speaking is very good. All of you must learn to become good public speakers, and then you will succeed in life. Is that passionate enough? No. I am passionate about public speaking. I am passionate about giving tips on public speaking to people like you, to all of you, and that's the reason that passion comes out in my voice. And you would like to hear to somebody who is passionate about what they are speaking about, rather than a dull speech, right? So introspection and self-awareness. So in order to be a successful speaker, you must understand what is your strong point. Is it humor? Can you make people laugh? Or is it storytelling? Can you tell a story very well? So those are the things you must try and understand, and then communicate with the audience. Whatever your strength is, so you have to think, are you a person who knows a lot of information, who can give facts and figures, who has a good memory, can give all these facts? So then that's your strong point. Use that strength while you're making a speech. Being yourself. This is one of the most important things all of us should understand, is that do not, uh, there is no duplicate of you. Do not copy somebody's, even if you've taken information from somewhere else, there is no other you. So be yourself while you're giving out the speech. I'm in the sense that, though you have taken material from maybe the web or the books, and somebody else from journals, newspaper, so the speech is actually taken bits and pieces from everywhere. But you have prepared it. Today or now, you own that speech. So let it come out as yours. Be confident and be yourself. Do not copy any speaker, because you have a unique way of telling something. Do it yourself, or the way you would like to do. Though you have rehearsed it many times, it's still your speech. Engagement with the audience. Like I'm always telling from the beginning, try to engage the audience. Make it interesting for them. Tell them a story. Tell them a joke. And so many, pieces of information which makes it interesting. Today it's very difficult to engage the audience, in the sense that if you waver somewhere, they're quickly onto their cell phones, or they're talking to somebody or doing something. So engaging the audience, this is another important task that you should be aware of. how to prepare a public speech. So now we know what goes into being a good public speaker: confidence, passion, how to engage the audience, how to be yourself. Now let's look at how to write a good public speech. So first is, if you were given the choice, try to pick out a topic which was of interest to the audience, which is going to be of interest to the audience. Mediate on the topic. What is the topic that would interest, if you're giving it to your peers or your people who are like you, what would interest you? Then you can take that topic. Similarly, collect various dimensions. You can speak from your experience. The first time, like if I were to speak about the first time I went onto the stage, I was really nervous. I had the speech prepared, I knew everything about it, but the moment I went on, something did not work. The technology, sometimes when you're nervous, everything goes wrong. So the PowerPoint did not work, and then I had to start my speech without a presentation, and then I had to speak. But slowly, as I went along, because I had researched the speech very well, I knew what was coming next, so I could do it even without a PPT. So if you rehearse everything well, though you may start out nervous, you can do it without any hitch, or your own experience, famous scholars and books, website, discussions. Gather material from everywhere. Don't go to one spot, maybe some Google web page, one page, and copy everything from there. Go through different sites, pick out the best things from there. Go to different books, go to different papers, whatever, journals, and collect information. Then your speech would be very good. So what does a public speech have? It is an introduction of the topic, the body, and the conclusion. So let's look at how we can make a good introduction. How do you write a speech? Write the way you talk. Generally, if I were in class, I'd be talking like this, exactly like this. I wouldn't do it any differently. So even in a speech, you don't have to be stiff and proper and then just read out whatever, just speak what. You can be free. It should be like a two-way conversation rather than a speech. And write the body of the speech first. If you're preparing a speech, write what are the main points of the speech? What do you want to convey to your audience? Then arrange them in a logical order, and then write the introduction and then conclusion. Generally, if you start writing the introduction first, it's very tough because you don't know exactly what your points are. Once you get the body right, once you get the main points right, you can introduce the topic and then finally conclude it. So the main body is very important first before you start. So gather information. Like, one of the great speaker, Benjamin Franklin, once said, an empty bag cannot stand upright. Can you think of a grocery bag which is empty? If you put it, will it stand? No. Similarly, if you do not have a lot of information, a lot of preparation, a lot of things in your head or in your hand, you cannot be confident. You will just crumble like a bag. That's why gathering information, gathering a lot of information. If you have to speak for 5 minutes, I would say if you're a beginner, you would have to prepare for 10 hours to speak for 5 minutes. It's not that easy. You have to get information from everywhere. But as you progress, as you do it again and again, probably the time becomes less. But still, if you have to speak for 5 minutes, you have to prepare for at least 2 hours, or at least an hour if you've become a professional, that is. So gather information and solid material, and then look at magazines, books, consult people, go to the library. So all these things are important when you are preparing a speech. So introduction. Like I said, there are many ways to introduce the topic. It could be a joke. It could, people say, hello, hello, hello. That's one way of introducing. Make a loud noise, ask a question, tell a story, use a quotation, a personal, any way to attract the attention of the audience. These are some ways of doing that. Conclusion. As Shakespeare said, all's well that ends well. That means if everything ends well, that means all that preceded it was also good. So your conclusion has to be good to show that all your whole speech was good. So try to make it humorous again. If you're a person who's got a good sense of humor, make it humorous. Uh, some people, when they finish the speech, they say, I hope I haven't put you all to sleep. Or if I have, I still have a lullaby in my, you know, pen drive which I can play for you. Or something like that. Then everybody sits up and laughs. So that's sort of a little humor. And, they tell a joke or they give a small emotional story right at the end to have that emotional connect. Think of, movies also. Towards the end, what do they have? Even a movie is sort of a presentation. So what does it have? It either has a climax where there's a big fight and something happens, or there's an emotional speech at the end. Why? Because to connect to the audience as they leave the auditorium, that connect should remain. So these are the reasons they have those. And make an emotional impact. Then, why do you need to practice when you're giving a speech? It's just a speech, you have it written down, you know it by heart, or you've practiced it so many times. So why do you need to rehearse? You need to rehearse because it's not only about speaking, standing in one place and giving a speech. It's about so many things. Your smile, the gestures, the way you move. You see that person, he's moving his hands, the way I'm moving my hands. It's about gestures. It's about head and eyes. How making eye contact with the people. When you're giving a live presentation, you have people sitting in front of you. So make eye contact with them. Not just with one person in the front or just a few people in the front, but people at the back. You see audience, when people are giving good big speeches, people just don't stand at one place. They move forward and then they move backward and they, move sideways. What are they trying to do? They're trying to connect to the audience that is closest to them. And sincerity. If you're sincere, it shows in your words, it shows in your speech, it shows in your voice. So be sincere to whatever topic you take. You have to be sincere and you have to be truthful to the topic. Only then it will come out sincerely. So if you don't believe in it, don't give a speech on that. So you will only be sincere if you really believe in it. So be sincere whatever you're going to talk about. Present this speech. Just like I said, any good presentation, wherever you are, it could be a 2-minute presentation in class, it could be a 5-minute presentation, a competition, electrocution competition, it could be a 15-minute presentation for a project viva, it could be anything. Unless you're prepared, you cannot make a good presentation. So good preparation starts with good preparation. And things to think about when you're giving a good presentation or a good speech is salutation. Generally, if it's politicians, they start with mere behno or bhaiyo. If it's women, depending on the audience, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear youngsters, or if there is all kinds of people, then if it's just your age group, dear friends, different. Remember to salute, or the salutation should be good. Greet everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, hello. So these things are very, very important because that breaks the ice. People start listening to you when you after the salutation and being deliberate. Be vocal, be deliberate. And using the hands. Hands, when we say using the hands, you can't make big, big gestures like this or like that, because those gestures are too elaborate. Your hands should be moved, should be have open-handed, and then you could move them, but not like, just throw them here and there. So they should be pure casual. And using the body. Whenever somebody is speaking, sometimes you see people moving like this, or fidgeting or doing something like this, that shows their nervousness, or uh, doing something to their hair, I don't know, all sorts of things. That shows their nervousness. Try not to fidget. That shows that you're not confident. So, to appear confident, stand at one place. You can walk a little, maybe right across or to the front, depending on the space you have on the stage, but then try not to fidget or move too much. And using humor, of course, as I was saying from the beginning, humor is very important. That's one way people connect to you. Dress and physical appearance. So it doesn't mean you have to be dressed perfectly like a cinema star or something like that, but if you have to dress professionally in order to be taken seriously. If you just come casually, people will take your whatever you say also casually. They'll take it very lightly. If you've got a topic which is where you're sincere about something and you want to speak at great length, you have to be dressed appropriately. And whenever I see Narendra Modi, I see him well groomed. Nowadays he has a new scarf to go with his attire. He has a instead of a, what is that, mask, he has this thing that he puts around his neck. So every time he comes to speak, it's a different color. So depending on the occasion, if it was Republic Day, he has all the three colors of the flag. So why is he dressing? It's Modi. He could do it anyway. He could just, but he's trying to dress appropriately for the occasion. So similarly, whenever you're giving a speech, try to dress appropriately. The more professional your look is, the more seriously you're taken. Whenever you have some speeches given by, presentations given in seminars and all, people dress according. If it's a businessman or a businesswoman, they come in pants and a blazer and all that. If it's a Guruji, he comes in probably a dhoti and kurta and things like that. So different occasions, spiritual speech, it would be probably a dhoti kurta or something like that. But the business speech, it would be a proper tie, a coat and all that. So depending on the occasion, so dress appropriately. You will be taken as seriously only when you're dressed correctly. And where to stand. Generally, I'm standing to the right because you have to see the board, but generally the center and a little this way or that way. So don't keep on moving. So that will distract the audience from what you're saying. So you should also decide on where to stand. And notes, very important to keep cue cards. If you do not have a PowerPoint, cue cards, so that if you forget something, it's not that everybody knows everything they're speaking. They generally have a word or two written or a line written on the card to tell them what the next point is going to be. So that makes it, you have far less nervousness of forgetting something if you have those cards. So notes are important, but not notes where you have pages and pages written and then you take it out and start reading. That's not the sort of notes we're talking about. We're talking about small cards where just the topic is mentioned, where it clicks a memory and then you can speak. Okay, keep the following in mind. Okay, we're coming to the conclusion. So let's also revise what we did from the beginning. Planning. So the saying, like I said yesterday, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So especially for public speaking, planning is very important. You have to plan. What is the topic? If the topic is already given to you, who are the audience? Where is it going to be? How many are going to be there? What is the medium? Is it face to face? Is it a recording? Is it live? Okay, what is the technology that is being used? Is it open auditorium or closed auditorium? You have to deal with all these things when you are preparing a speech. Original and smart. Nobody likes a repetition. Nobody likes to hear something that's already been said. So try to be original and smart. Short, sweet, and not beyond the given time. If somebody was given 10 or 15 minutes for his speech and they go on for 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes, after a point of time, the audience just gives up. It sort of shuts itself out because they know that this they have these program sheets where it's given 15 minutes, and if it goes beyond, unless the speech is very very interesting, unless it's that, it's very difficult to keep the audience in attention. So try to stick to the time that you're given. Keep the audience in mind. Stay cool and relaxed. How can you stay cool and relaxed? If you're well prepared, if you're well rehearsed, if you have planned and you're on time, then you can be cool and relaxed. And again, be interactive and humorous. Don't, when you're giving a speech, don't behave or don't act as if it's the end of the world. There could be some serious topic when seriousness is supposed to be there, but most of the time you can engage the audience with humor or with while asking a question. Body language, as I was saying, gestures, eye contact, movements, all this is very important. Unbiased, be unbiased. As a speaker, though you may be favoring a team or favoring a party or favoring a state or something, when you're speaking in public, try to be as unbiased as possible. Because unless you are unbiased, the audience can feel it. They can actually get the cue from your sentences. These are the reasons why some politicians try to instigate the public by being biased. They will say that, oh, I didn't say anything, but what they say, the way they say it, shows that they are biased. So try to be as unbiased as possible about any topic. Okay, this is not a place where you give your personal views. It is the general. The personal views, of course, some topics you have to give out your personal views. Then you can always say that this is my personal view. This may or may not be right. So be as unbiased as possible. Plan and practice. There is no substitute to practice. Plan, prepare, perform. Practice and perform. Plan, prepare, practice, perform. Plan, prepare, practice, perform. All the 4 P's. So unless you do this again and again, it is very difficult to perform on the stage. Observe other successful speakers. If you want to be a good speaker, what made somebody a good speaker? I remember, Steve Jobs. I don't know how many of you may not have seen it, but Steve Jobs' speech. Actually, Steve Jobs also was not a great speaker. He was not a born speaker. So he was invited, once he became the CEO of Apple and all that. As you all know, Steve Jobs was the CEO of Apple. He's no more. He founded Apple. All the Apple phones that you're using, iPhones you're using now, are all from that company. So he founded Apple, and when he was at the top of his position, even when he was the CEO, he was invited to give a convocation speech to Stanford students. And when he went there, he gave a speech from the bottom of his heart. He connected to the audience. You know what he spoke about? He spoke about how his mother wanted him to be a graduate. She wanted him to study, go to college, and how his mother was actually a single mother, and she had to give him away as soon as he was born because she could not look after him. She herself was a student, and she could not look after the baby, so she had to give him away for adoption. But she had one stipulation, I believe. She said, whoever adopts my child should be graduates themselves, because she believed that if they were graduates or if they went to college, they would surely send their child also to college. So that was one stipulation she had. But unfortunately, on the day that Steve Jobs was born, the parents who were supposed to take him, who were already decided that they would adopt him, they didn't want him, in the sense that I believe they wanted a girl. So they said, sorry, we're looking for a girl, we wouldn't like to have this boy. So a new set of parents were searched for Steve Jobs. And one of the stipulations as the mother had was to have them as graduates. These people who were found were not graduates. But they promised Steve Jobs' mother that they would send this child to college. It's only after that that she agreed to sign the adoption papers. When he spoke about all these things on that convocation day, how education is very important, how his mother wanted him to be an educated person, he dropped out of college and he went on to found a company which is so popular, or so, such a great company as Apple. That's all a different topic. It continues from there. But he made an emotional connect with his audience because of his personal experience. He told his life story. He told the story of his birth, how he was adopted. So this is the sort of connect. It is there in TED Talks. If you want to go and see, you can always go to Steve Jobs' convocation address. You will get it in the Google link, and you can always listen to it. It's a wonderful public speech, maybe one of the first ones made by Steve Jobs, and it is really very, very emotional and touching. So even I remember it, and gives me goosebumps whenever I think about it. So that is the effect of public speaking. So observe other successful speakers. That's what I meant. Who's afraid of public speaking? I'm sure some of you will put up your hand. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. So what do you need for public speaking? What are you afraid of in this? Is it the performance? Is it the anxiety, the actual speech? Are you afraid of the stage? Are you afraid of training? Are you afraid of whether you can communicate? So all these things go into public speaking. How to present a successful public speech? Some do's and don'ts. Like I said, preparation, practice, performance. Planning also goes into it. Okay, so 90% of the success will depend on how well you can control, how well you do these 3 P's or the 4 P's. So once you have all the speech ready, you've written it down, you've rehearsed it. Now, when it comes to presentation, always remember some tips on presentation. Always smile. Nobody is going to, get up and bite you, or nobody is going to say, oh no, that's not right, because that's your opinion, that's your speech. You own that speech. So smile and speak with confidence and have fun while giving that speech. Don't be afraid of what people will think. So let your mind not go into that place where you're worried about what the others think. Only worry about giving a good presentation. Let me tell you, even the best speakers have butterflies in their stomach when they come onto the stage. That is what enhances the speech, what makes it better. So speak loud. Whenever depending on the audience, if there's just 10 people, you don't have to speak loud. But when there are 100 or thousands people, you have to speak loud. When you loud, you convey a lot of confidence. And then relax. Be yourself, know your audience, and of course, be confident. Claim attention. There might be some people talking to each other. There might be some people, but try to engage them also by giving out a nice joke. If they've missed one joke, they will surely sit up and say, oh my God, I've missed something. Let me listen properly. So claim attention. Wrap up your speech on time. Nobody likes, to be taken for granted. You have to value the other person's time as well. So wrap it up in time. That's why the reason I'm looking at my clock too. Be flexible. Connect with the audience during the speech. Like I was talking about Steve Jobs, this convocation address. He connected with the audience because he was talking like as a teenager or as a young entrepreneur. He was talking to people who were going to be entrepreneurs or who were going to enter the professional, field. So connect with the audience, face your audience, use gestures, and use simple language. When you're preparing a speech, keep in mind that people like it simple. Your speech should not be very taxing unless you're a Shashi Tharoor or something and who has a big vocabulary and uses all these big words. But very few people understand what he's saying. Excuse me. So he has a very small audience. People who read his books also, small audience, because they probably don't understand what he's trying to say. So uh, use simple language. Even books, why do people like Chetan Bhagat's books? I'm sure some of you read them because very simple language and very Indianized language. That's why people like. So you don't have to copy anybody. Use simple language. Simple is easy to understand. Do not fear. Always. It's easier said than done. But try, do not be afraid of small things, and especially things that are not under your control. Do not be afraid, what if the light goes off? What if this happens? What if that happens? Those are not under your control. So, what's the point of worrying about them? So, do not worry about things that are not under your control. Try to only think of your speech, what you're going to say, and how you're going to say it. Also, do not rush through your presentation. If you're rushing through it, people can know, people do understand. So take your time, whatever point you're making, take your time, speak clearly and loudly enough so that everybody can hear. Do not stick your hands in this. Also, again, body language. Men, people who are a little nervous will try to put their hands in their pocket because they don't know where to put their hand. So they will put it in their pockets, and they do not point fingers. Pointing fingers is bad. Generally, I'll have a class about body language also. Open arms is the best way. Open arms shows that you're an open person. Or even if you want to show someone, you show it this way, not like that. So pointing fingers is bad at anyone. Do not hurt people's feelings. Like I said, don't be unbiased, or rather, be unbiased. Do not be biased. At the same time, do not hurt people's feelings. If you know that the audience consists of different types of people, sometimes you're talking about some religion or some thing that pertains to some religion, see that you don't hurt anybody's feelings. You could be talking about how men or women make better managers than men. That could be a topic, but then you do not hurt people's feelings by pointing at them. So try to be as unbiased as possible. Do not dictate. Avoid unbecoming language. Do not use jargon or short forms or words which are like you know do not use any words that are unbecoming. So I should not use those unbecoming words, so I'll not say them. But don't use things like bro and things like it's brother, it's not mom, mother. So, all these kinds of things also should be avoided when you're giving a public speech. Avoid repetition of words or phrases. If you're using one word in the beginning, don't keep on using the same thing. Change it to a synonym when you're speaking. Do not put up an aggressive face. You have not come here to shout at someone or dictate to someone or order someone. So have a smiling countenance, have a smiling face. Let people accept you. Let people welcome you. Let people, understand you. You will be understood better with a smiling face rather than aggressive face. And don't make things which you're not sure of. One more thing is, when you prepare a speech, when you are preparing a speech, make that you get it from authentic sources. Make sure that what you're going to say is true and correct. So double check things, especially if you're giving figures or definitions or quotations. Make sure that they are correct. So look at these two speakers. Who do you think is a better speaker? I'm sure you will say the person on the right, because he is using gestures and he's not looking at the book, rather than the person on the left who is only standing up and reading from his notes. See, he's got a stiff disposition. He's just standing there and just reading. So there's no gestures, no contact, no smile. Whereas this man, he has a good personality. So do not come across, when we say confidence, do not come across a person who is overconfident. Although this is also not the right pose to have. At the same time, hiding your hands behind the back, that is also not correct. The best way is to have your hands on your sides with gestures if you possible, or you can just hold them. Even holding this is not correct. That shows a very closed body language. So open arms this way is the best way to speak. If you have podium, you can put your hands on the podium and stand. But these are, again, this shows dominance and that shows nervousness. Standing cross-legged, this is also not correct. You should be standing, with both your legs firmly on the ground, not crossed and relaxed, not in a stand at ease position, but in a relaxed position, not with your arms crossed like I was saying, with open arms. That would be a good posture. So with that, we come to the end of public speaking session. I'm sure you've learnt a tip or two during this session. And let me tell you, thank you for your attention first. I'm K. Shailaja Rao, soft skill trainer at Aditya. And I welcome you to more sessions like these. And let me also ask you to please take any opportunity that you get for public speaking. If you are asked to speak in front of your class, please do. Get up and give the answer. Get up and say, madam, I will tell you. So that these are all small little opportunities, windows of opportunities, which you should take up to in order to enhance your public speaking skills. Group discussion, jams, these are also places where you can enhance these skills. Nobody can become a speaker overnight. At the same time, there is nothing like you can't do something. If you practice, anybody can do anything. So happy public speaking and see you in the next class. Thank you.